So this is video number 2 about John Stanton because, as a Mariner fan, I really am pissed off. The 15 million that you were budgeted to spend was 15 million you got from Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball gave you 15 million and you've yet to spend it. So at the end of the day, John, what it comes down to is you got 15 million from Major League Baseball and you refuse to spend that money on any free agents. Any whatsoever. That can help you win. When you got a lot of holes to fill. First base, third base, second base. You got a lot of holes to fill. And you refuse to spend any of that money. And what's worse is you refuse to put any of your own money into this fucking team. You guys reportedly made over $400 million in revenue last year. Revenue. And you can't put any fucking money, any of that fucking money back into this fucking team? Oh, well, we paid our guys in our arbitration, and we paid our guys this, and we paid our guys that. Bullshit, John. That's an excuse. Well, our RSN, it's not where we want it to be. We're having RSN problems. Bullshit, John. That's an excuse. Again. The fucking Diamondbacks, who have one of the worst regional sports network issues in baseball, outspent your cheap lying ass by over $200 million. They went out last year. They identified problems. And you know what? They went out and fixed it. Even though they didn't really have the money to do it, they went out and they fucking fixed it. They paid what? 11 million, 12 million for Suarez last year. They took on his contract. Then they gave Jordan Montgomery a bunch of money, even though that didn't work out. Then this year they gave Corbin Burns $200 million. Then they traded for Josh Naylor $14 million. And they have one of the worst regional sports network situations in Major League Baseball. They went out and they spent money and they made their team better. Because you know what? They went to the World Series and they identified problems to where they needed to fix it so they can go to the World Series, so they can hopefully go to the World Series the next year and the next year and the next year. That's what they did. They identified they lost the World Series, and you know what they did? They got to work the next fucking year. And you know what? They made the goddamn playoffs the next fucking year. They may not have made the World Series, but they made the fucking playoffs. They didn't stand pat and do the bare fucking minimum. They didn't stand pat and fucking lie to their fan base and come up with excuse after excuse after excuse why they couldn't spend money. They went out and they spent the fucking money because they want to win. You, on the other hand, had a regional sports network. And you ran it into the fucking ground. Some fucking businessman you are. You know how fucking hard it is to run a sports network into a fucking ground? That shit should be a license to print money. Yet somehow you even found a way to fuck that up. You haven't been to the playoffs for 2 years, and now we find out that you got 15 million from Major League Baseball because you're crying poor over your regional sports network, and you're not even spending the fucking money that they gave you. and you know the kicker, John? You're gonna raise goddamn prices 30% from what it's been reported. 30% for ticket prices. And you expect people to come fucking pay those ticket prices and pay those concession prices even though you won't invest any of your fucking money into this fucking team beyond what is barely required of you. I mean, Ha-Sung Kim should have been a fucking layup for this fucking team, and yet somehow you guys fucked that up. No team wants to trade with you. You can't get top tier fucking hitters because nobody wants to play for you because you run such a dog shit organization. Face it, John, you need to sell the team. Because obviously, you don't care about winning. You may say you do in the press. You may say you do in these little puff piece interviews that you do. But you really don't care about winning. For you and your shareholders, other owners, whatever the fuck you want to call them, it's all about profit. It's always been about profit. And the fans that actually want to see a World Series come to Seattle, we get fucked over. Not only that, we have to pay a higher price for your fucking greed. I mean, it's no fucking wonder. You can't get anybody to come here. You know, this whole Roki Sasaki thing, it should be a fucking layup for you guys to convince Roki Sasaki to come come play for the Mariners. Got the best pitching development staff in baseball. You got the best pitcher's ballpark in baseball. You're in a great city. I mean, this should be a fucking layup. And your name isn't even fucking mentioned. The two names that keep getting mentioned are the Dodgers and the Padres. You can't even get your fucking name mentioned as front runners in this thing. Because that's how little people think of this fucking team. And that's on you. And Chris. And whoever and all the other owners that don't want to invest money into this team. I mean, you guys are supposed to be fucking billionaires or something. And all you do is just give an excuse after, well, it's hard to do a cash call. It's hard to get cash, and it's not easy raising the funds. Bullshit. Like I said, if you're too fucking incompetent to run the team, then fucking sell it to somebody who can run the team and somebody who will fucking go get a World Series. Because under your leadership, under your stewardship, it ain't working. It ain't working one bit. I mean, you realize that there's about 5 teams that haven't spent any money this year, including the Marlins, by the way. And you're one of the 5 teams that haven't spent a goddamn penny this year. And now it's starting to sound like you're trying to trade Castillo to shed salary. And it's going to be a salary dump. And I can't wait to see what we get back for Castillo. Because it's probably not going to be anything good. It's probably going to be middle of the road. I mean, do you know how pathetic that is? To have to trade away good talent just to create payroll flexibility because you are too fucking cheap to put money back into this fucking team? You know how fucking pathetic that is? Well, we paid our arbitration guys. Yeah, you're required to pay them. I mean, it's just fucking pathetic, man. It really is. That you can't spend any fucking money on this team beyond what is barely expected of you. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Fuck you, man.